is HaShulchan Yordeh Siman Chav Tes Sif Chav Ches to Siman Lamed Sif Aleph. This is supplemental day 157 of the HaShulchan Yomi cycle. Chav Ches. I saw he who wrote that if a question arose, a question with prejudice arose against the animal was still alive. Saying this animal has now been removed from the principle, the overall category that most animals are considered kosher. Baby, right? But evidence that which Chazal say, we say Perksuvas Taf Tezayin, Rov Nashim Besulos and Nesulos. Changes here. It's a mistake. The additional abusing changes Rov Nashim the Besulos Nisos to Nesuos, but that's not correct. It is supposed to be Nisos. Most women get married when they're Besulos, when they're virgins. Rov here changes Hanis Ace to Nesuos. But I think that's also a mistake. Rov and Isais Besulos, and most of the women who get married as virgins, there's not a rumor, but a public awareness, I guess we put it. Literally means, of course, a voice, but it means that there's a public awareness that they got married as Besulos. A woman who does not have the public awareness concerning marriage that she got married as a Besula. Israel Ruba, that is damages her raise the question, damages her being part of the majority. How can I mean I'm arcane here? So we say saying Roban is kosher, and most animals are kosher, but Robak kosher and them because most animals that are kosher don't have this question which arises about them. And this one this a question arose. It damages the majority. That's from the for sure. It's a nice svara. But HaShulchan rejects it. It says on this like the Enokin. It's not the case. Sharia Rambam Pasuk Perek Beis Melech Tzeh Din Ches Zel Shona. Rambam Pasuk as follows. Somebody kills a treifa. Somebody kills a person who's a treifa. Harayz a patu in the Adam, so he can't be killed by human court. But we assume every person is considered to be whole. In other words, not a treifa. Vargo Nerag, and we kill a person who kills him. Unless we know definitively that this person is a treifa, that this person actually was had a mortal wound. The doctor will say, the doctor say that this wound has no cure in human beings. That he would die as a result of this wound if not for some other thing having killed him first. So it's a kavachomer. The inbedin shows if in the capital law means as far as we don't say that this logic, which the for sure suggests we should extend to other locations. That most people are healthy. Most people who are healthy don't have a wound. This person who has a wound, since he has a wound, his majority, the damage is the majority. And we say no, it continues to be assumed to be part and parcel of the majority of people who are healthy. And this question that he has a wound, it's not a definite question. We still say we killed the person who killed him. Coach Kane and is okay. Well, that's that seems to me that's different. I don't see where that's evidence because there was no other race other than the wound which was inflicted by the murderer. But here we're still talking about race in the actual consciousness of the animal. So I'm not sure. I can see a distinction. I can see it for sure with a distinction. But the Arukh Shul is not. He's saying that. Koshkin and Isabata by Dina Fushes, we don't say that the fact that the person now is a mako is a reusa. So here also we don't say that the fact that there's a wound now has a reusa. The fact that he has a reusa now, we don't say by Dina Fushes that the reusa removes him from the rove. So too we don't say by the tarfus the reusa removes this animal from the rove. Okay, the in Israel to learn me the race of material robe, and we would say the any race of it's not a clear cut question. If robe and the animal certainly must be remains part of the majority. Machtuk was say a raya cloud. From the karma to there's no evidence at all. Loti moment shani. The reason why there we take that coal into account according to HaShulchan is because, well, we're trying to extract money to pay a ksuba of an absula, and we know that to extract money requires a very high level of evidence. I feel Mandalay because Cheskas Mammon, the assumption that money belongs to the person to whom it is right currently affiliated is very strong. I feel Mandalay because we know that you don't. Well, actually, we know you fall majority by Dina Foshos, but not by Dina Mamas. It requires to a certain extent even greater proof than Dina Foshos. But I feel man and even those who hold that we do not say the principle that we don't follow majority by Mammon, we do. This is chazaka against the robe. Besides the Reusa that there was no call, there's also a chazaka against the robe. That the chazkas, I assume means the chazkas Mammon. And so to everybody shas means for kazu yesh chazaka negerov. Anytime we say there's a reusa in the rov, it's because there's a chazaka against the rov. Shkeinach is supposed to by us. I feel only tell chazkas chaim. Even they don't give this animal a chazaka being alive, such as that it's not 12 months old yet, or 12 months past since the wound. It shouldn't be a treifa, but it's not yet 12 months old. I feel yes, is 12 months old. Become chazaka chazaka, which is not clarified. Name says treifa. No, sorry. Well, yeah, or right, because such as you have cheese, which is made from an animal, and then the animal is shechted and found to be a treifa. She's by Sim Pei Aleph. Where, okay, the question when you made the cheese before the animal became treifa or not. Even if you say chazaka is unclear, nevertheless, there's no chazaka against, there is no chazaka against the robe. This is literally like the halacha of the Rambam. The Shan Gankin and Chazak Rov. I guess with the Ram Paskins there in by the cheese. There's no Chazak against the Rov. The most animals are kosher. Mashkin B'Sham, as opposed to the case of the Ksuba. The Ksubas there is a Chazak of Cheskas Mom against the Rov. The early bar never seems to me clear that feeling man is feeling similar. None, even those own similar that we can't assume that the trephus in this occurred after the shchita. I skipped a line here. I feel man is feeling no, when it's not possible, that assume that the tarfus happened to shchita, lo minan, and in that case, lo minan nishcha b'cheskas etot emes. Therefore, we don't say that. We don't say once it's shech, this is something mutter. Come lo yatsa. Okay, even though we don't say we don't say nishcha b'cheskas etot emes. Come lo yatsa mikla rov and man. We still have the rov. You don't have a cheskas etot, but we have a rov. Just as it doesn't have a cheskas heter. So if there's no cheskas heter, but there is no, it has a yotze min harov, so therefore it's a suffix hashokol. That's interesting. A balanced suffix. I mean, okay, it's why did you say rov? But you say evidently in this case where there's no cheskas heter and the I know it's a suffix hashokol. He just said it's still part and parcel of the robe behemos ksheros. I'm not sure. Okay, we get to some news. We'll explain how long to come out of this. The bracket says, "Gamliel Chavtes Am Rabbi Shua ben Levi Over Nahar VeYipila Yeshua Advei Ansham." Okay, so you need Daf Chavtes. There's evidence for what he says. Evidently, when we get later in the Arukh, he's going to come back to this idea. Okay, that was a long sif, and I'm not sure exactly what we came out with it, other than he argues to the short, and he says that a reusa in the rove doesn't deprive the animal of the rove under certain circumstances, unlike the case in ksuvas. We'll have to see what the ramifications are. Simon Lamed, Sif Aleph. Simon Lamed actually did makabetzma gogolas a wound in the bone of the skull. Okay. You have an animal, in which the majority of the bone of the skull has been crushed. It's been beaten many times. Well, actually, it's not crushed, but it's been compacted. I guess it was perhaps concussed. The concussion, I think it is. Concussed is the many times. No nivchasa, wasn't crushed. And the membrane was not pierced. I feel and even the upper membrane of the brain is whole. If the majority has been concussed, it's treifa. It's not clear if this is a treifas unto itself, or because eventually the membrane will be pierced. As is the case by birds, as we shall see. The Chazal say over there, the reasons on account of the membrane. It seems that also by behem chaya the prohibition on account of the membrane. Chazal assessed road states rove etzem agogos when most of the bone of the skull has been concussed again. I guess is the translation. Shamoach nasum b'socha. We'll tell you about the skull in which the brain is to be found. The brain will not be sustainable over time. But because the memory, because it doesn't seem that the bone itself has some life force to it. For the came the opus and he's by the having time also since by the birds, it's become clear that it's an account of the membrane. Who we assume that this is the case also by Bein Mechaya. That which Shas had to say gives explanation by bird and not by an animal. Because by an animal, it's much larger shear. But Rubaktion is rotates. If it's concussed, then it's a majority. It has to be a majority. It betrayed for nifchasa if it's been crushed. Then Casella and the size already the size of a coin. Commercial bias, as we'll see. So since there's larger share, move on. It's automatically understood that when the bone has this great destruction in it, and it's as if the membrane is open, the body is definitely going to get ruined over time, and you didn't have to tell us that. How about both? But by birds, Yeshua and Mulat, where the shear is very small, commercial birds, which was see, Husavar had to clarify that by a bird who has less life force, Yiskalka Krum Apashir that the membrane will be affected and become treif, even if it's a much smaller shear of concussion. Okay, we will stop here for today.